going to talk about the next tool now is called the conflict resolution. This tool is really helpful in just like it describes many of us that we come, wanting help on how do we, deal with conflict, how do we resolve our differences, how do we, come to some kind of settlement of our upsets. And where this tool would be used is, again, we kind of created a pattern here. So we have our something for us that includes the request for change, and that's just putting things on the table. Okay, you take that request for change and use the request for change tool to be able to, to get to some kind of resolution with that, is the goal, okay? So if you can, that's great, then there really isn't a need to go here. But if you get to the bottom of that request for change tool and you still have a differences where you can't really make it work for your us yet, then we encourage you to take it to the clear the air for us. Okay, when you take it there, you take that one issue and you really, go around that whole, sentence stem completion and see if you can get to a resolution at that point. And if not, then we encourage you to take it to the conflict resolution. This actually takes it and, really dissects what the issue is, and you really brainstorm together as your us to see if you can come to a bottom line solution to try on.
Yes. Conflict resolution can be fun. Major corporations do this. You can use this in your own household. It works in every area of life, with your children, with employees, with friends, with any kind of breakdown. So it's real exciting in a way, because you want to sit down and say, honey, can we do a conflict resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Would you be able to do it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Now
So
it's good.
You'd want to set a time, right? And if she says, I just can't do it right now, she would agree to a time later maybe, where we could sit down and actually go through the tool. And so we're going to show you through a demonstration, like, what does it look like to break down a problem.
And let me just add to what he's just sharing there, because sometimes it isn't a good time, and just because it's a good time for one of you doesn't mean it's necessarily a good time for both of you. So again, all you have to say is, if your partner comes to you and says, can we do this tool, you're going to have all these bells and whistles going on, whatever, and that you don't have time, it's not a good time, you're too angry, whatever. Just communicate that with your spouse. Just say, what, this isn't a good time, I'm too upset right now. I'm trying to take care of getting the kids settled. I'm trying to get dinner ready real quick, but I do want to do this. So if we can just get through dinner and get things cleared away, and then we'll sit and do it together, or just give me 15 minutes to calm down and compose myself here, then I would love to do it with you. But you got to communicate. If you just say no and walk away, then again, there's not much us there.
Yeah, so it's all goodwill, empathy, respect. Gosh, you've heard that before, haven't you? Okay. Now, I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. The first thing is you set a time and a place where you're going to do it. The second one is you define the problem and you be specific. The more specific you are, the easier it is to get to a resolution about it. You would list the ways that each of you contributed to the problem. And so you'll have this sheet of paper and you'll be able to write down, what it is. And then you'll list the past attempts of ways that you've tried to resolve the problem, right? So you get to write down, well, we've done this, 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 and this. And then you get to sit down as a couple and you're staying connected, right? And there's no TV on, there's no outside influences. And you actually sit down and you say, well, let's write down some brainstorm, some answers. I'll throw a few out there, you throw a few out there of how else we can handle this. And you write those down. And then you discuss each one and you evaluate the possible solutions, both the good, the negative, what would be possible. And you agree to try one of those solutions. So you just agree to do one of them. And then you agree how each of you will work towards this solution and for how long, and set up another meeting. So for instance, you come to the solution and say, okay, we're going to try it. This is what I'm going to do to help the solution. This is what you're going to do, you agreed to. And then we're going to come back in 30 days and maybe if that solution didn't work, maybe we'll try one of these other ones or whatever it is, or maybe we'll brainstorm again and we start all over. But that's the premise. So here's, you got the problem, you sit down, you talk about it, you say what you've done about it, you say what's so about it, you create something new of what else could be done. You pick one of those, you try it on for 30 days. If you don't like it, try something else.
Yeah, it's just all about teamwork. Okay, how do you make it work for your us is the goal.
All right, would you like to do a conflict resolution, or would you do a conflict resolution with me, honey?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now's a good time?
Now's a good time.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the problem that I'm noticing is the kids still aren't always picking up after each party, like particularly this last party.
Right.
Okay,
yes.
All right. And the way I contributed to the problem was, I guess I just didn't remind them that they can't leave until the place is cleaned up. So I could say that that's one way I didn't contribute, was to remind them that they had to do that before they could go anywhere else.
Okay. And then I added to it by allowing them the freedom to go, because they were all going to the other event right after the party. And so I communicated that I wanted them to clean up first thing the next morning. But of course, we were at our seminar, so I wasn't there to supervise it. So there wasn't any follow through after that. That I knew that they were not going to be able to do it right after that night. They did somewhat, but not complete work. So.
All right, well, some of the ways we've tried to resolve this in the past was we told them they couldn't have any more parties if they didn't do that. I've yelled at them and stood over them and made them do everything.
Right.
Or not necessarily yelled, but stood there and made sure they did everything. That didn't seem to be successful. I've reminded them time and time and time again. That didn't seem to be successful. What have you done?
So I've just talked to them about honoring their word, about doing what they said they were going to do, have them look at whether or not they're being responsible. So I've communicated.
Okay, all right. So what kind of new ideas could we come up with about this? What could we do that's different than what we've done in the past to get this resolved?
Okay.
You got any ideas?
Well, since we're talking about boys, since we have the two boys, the first thing that's coming to me is maybe having, really like a chart, like some kind of visual thing that they see that, they had a party on this date. Did they do everything that was requested? Did they get ready for the stuff? Did they monitor who was there? Did they clean up afterwards? And make good choices while they were at the party, and make good choices for their time afterward, and have a visual. So either they get an X or a check at the end of that event, and so the next time they make that request, can they have friends over? We get to look at the chart and see how it's been. Did the last time, were they on track? It's a visual, so it's not just mom and dad making up stories and trying to take their fun away from them, but there's a real visual. It's just an idea.
One of the ideas I've got is I think we should sit them down and ask them what they think is fair about being responsible for the consequences of this event.
Okay, yeah.
That's something I think is a possible solution, is for them to start being responsible when they don't do what they say they're going to do, to clean it up and tell us what they think the punishment, if you will, should be for that.
Okay.
Do you have any other ideas?
Again, it's always important for them to just be able to share what the impact is too. When we give them so much time to do it, and they have their excuses, and then because we need it cleaned up for whatever reason, then we take on doing it, and they think it's not a big deal, but we're actually just enabling them. So it would be nice to have them, again, like you said, just kind of have that impact of what it's like for us, to be able to see what it's like for us.
Okay. Another possibility is each time that we have to clean or help clean the place, is that they have to go do other chores that they're not going to like.
Like our chores?
Like our chores, like whatever it might be, or read something like that.
Like that, yeah. Okay. I think that's good.
All right, so any of those sound good to you?
Well, I personally like the visual. That's one of my high picks. But I do like them doing our chores too. If we do their work, they have to do ours. Those are the first two that come up to me. So, what do you think?
I could go with the checkoff thing, but I'd like to be much more specific than what you're saying is. Do I understand the impact on my parents? Do I acknowledge whatever? Like really have it very deeper than just, did I not clean? Did I clean? For people here that weren't here, have I been my word? Just to have it be more insightful to that, and then maybe initial it, because one of them may and one of them may not be on each one.
Right.
All right, so we create like a chart like that.
Yeah.
And then after each party, they have to initial it.
Right.
Okay. All right. And all right. So, do you want to make up the chart?
I will make up the chart.
All right. And then I'll make sure that they fill it out.
Okay.
Okay. We'll try that for the next party,
Okay.
the next get together.
So are we going to explain it to them now, or are we going to explain it to them when they ask for the next get together?
Well, either one doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can tell. We can go ahead and tell them what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
So they know what's expected. Okay.
All right. So we'll try that for the next one.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Thanks.